And welcome into the show, Metabolic Coaching right here with Dr. Justin Anderson, Cut the Killer Carbs. That's what we talk about. Check out the website, metabolic-coaching.net. Check us out on Facebook too, Cut the Killer Carbs on Facebook. Our direct number at our clinic, 448-0322. That's 448-0322. Of course, along the way, phone lines will be open at all times, 745-5800. You can text in as well, 806-745-5800 for today's broadcast. Special guest here on the show as well, Debbie Beckham here on the program. Good morning to both of you. Glad to see y'all back in the saddle.
Good morning.
So we're going to talk about your health as we do on our medical shows, and I always love these shows because I always learn so much and actually take little bits and pieces of it and go, yeah, I can apply that in my life, and that'll help. And so I'm looking forward to.
You're taking baby steps, Wade.
I am. The old crawl before you walk and walk before you run, doctor. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm crawling around, trying to figure this out. I have lost, though, 8 pounds over the last 3 weeks.
Good.
Which has been good for me, and I feel a lot better, more alert, feel better. I mean, it's amazing that the junk we eat can make you feel so bad, and you don't realize it. Even if you're not sitting around just eating bonbons all day.
You don't realize it until you stop.
Yeah, you don't really realize until after you start saying, some people call it clean eating. I call it, just eating right. But again, you don't really realize until a few weeks, months down the road that, man, I really feeling a little bit better here, a little pickup in my step.
The reason I asked Debbie to come in today was for Debbie to kind of tell her story about how she feels.
Yeah.
And exactly like you're saying. How long you've been doing the program, the Metabolic Coaching program, Debbie?
I started eating this way July 31st last year.
Oh, you did? Mm-hmm. Wow, okay.
So it's about 9 months now?
Yes.
Well, talking about, like Wade said, how you feel, I mean, how do you compare how you feel before and after, or still during doing the program?
Yes, I'm still doing the program. I have significant weight to lose, but, unlike most people, Wade, I had kind of given up on ever trying to lose weight because it didn't seem like anything worked. Mm-hmm. I tried everything that was out there.
Yeah.
And then I found Dr. Justin and totally revolutionized my thinking about food and how I feel about the way I was eating. I didn't realize how bad the carbs were for my body. The white flours, the sugars, and what it was doing for me. And being type 2 diabetic, I didn't want to have to take medicine, and I sure didn't want to ever have to be on a pump or take insulin.
Was it crossing the threshold, Debbie, because a lot of type 2s that are extremely obese can morph into that type 1 where you're going to have to do all kinds of stuff like injections and, get more aggressive with your diabetes. Were you facing that challenge right then and there when you decided, oh, you know what, I can't live life like this anymore? Is that what really the straw that broke the camel's back, or what was it exactly that did it?
Well, no, Wade, it wasn't that. I was very conscious of my weight and my sugars daily, and my blood pressure, and I just wanted to feel better, and I wanted to be around oatmeal. Everybody thinks oatmeal is great for you. Mm-hmm. And it is, it's not. But I started eating the way he shared. And I'll tell you, Wade, I think the whole thing about weight loss is in the mind.
Oh, I agree with that.
It's in the mind.
100%, yeah.
I had even talked to a doctor about, having the surgery.
Stomach staple or gastric bypass or something.
And I'll never forget what he told me in that consultation. He said, I can help you lose the weight, but I can't help you keep it off, because what's going to happen is if you don't fix what's wrong up here, then you can lose all the weight you want and it's not going to stay. And so when I first went to Dr. Justin, one of the things that he gave us that day was a CD that he has that you listen to at night, and it just helps you relax. And I tell him all the time. I go to bed with him all the time. He just doesn't know it.
Oh, I've actually heard him. I haven't gone to bed with him yet, but I have listened to your soothing. It's almost hypnotic in a sense, but not. It's not hypnosis.
Right.
But I've listened to them, and it's great because I do this radio show with you, and I listen to him, and I go, there he is. He goes, these carbs are bad, or what? The way his voice is, I'm going, oh, there.
Yeah.
But it's you're programming, you're reprogramming
Exactly.
your
How
thought
you
process.
feel about food, and what I saw, for me, because the week before I started eating the low carb, high fat, I started listening to the tapes, and I started noticing that, wow, I was having a change of feelings about food. I wasn't craving sweets anymore. I felt totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I did start eating the low carb, high fat diet, I was satisfied. And I can truly tell you, since July 31st last year, I have not had cravings for sugar or white flour. I don't eat any bread. And I used to think, man, you can't live without bread. But you do other things. Like if I go out and eat and I want a hamburger, I'll get a triple burger just without the bun.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm able to enjoy and
That's a good trick.
No.
I'm able to enjoy myself. And, I've lost over 60 pounds.
60 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I'm figuring, another 60 pounds this year. And I'm going to be feeling really, really good. I mean, I feel great now. My blood sugars are normal.
When's the first time in your life, for example, like with me, and I'm really about 40 pounds overweight as I sit here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about 220 pounds, but I lost 8 pounds, and I was thinking just the other day, once I started the program and do some fasting, and I still work out and stuff as well, but I was thinking back, okay, 8 pounds, okay, when's the last time I weighed, 210 pounds? I couldn't remember. I mean, so my question is to you is like, when was the last time that you were at your current weight? Before you started the program, was it 5 years ago, 10 years ago? How long, in other words, did it take you to accumulate that 60-pound weight loss that you've lost? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Total sense. I would honestly say that it was probably in the last 7 years.
7 years.
Mm-hmm. That I was at the weight I am here.
Okay, 7 years ago, before,
Mm-hmm.
So see, and here's the thing about this, Debbie, and I find this fascinating, is that this stuff creeps up on us and we don't realize it. And then one day we look in the mirror and they go, gee whiz, what happened? But so often people say, well, I'll just go on a diet and fix everything. It's not that easy. Mm-mm. We didn't get into this shape overnight. And a lot of times it's a total lifestyle change, and it's going to take time to get out of the ditch, right?
Yeah.
I got an email from a client just recently, and she said, well, I took the course on Friday. I started on Monday, but I kind of cheated and ate bread on Tuesday, and I weighed myself on Friday, and I hadn't lost any weight. And so, I mean, if it takes you 40 years to get to where you are, it's going to take more than 4 days to reverse it. And that's kind of like the story of Mike Bailey. I mean, he's an MD, a medical doctor in Levelland, who's been doing low carb for 5 years, lost 100 pounds, got off his diabetes medication, got off 3 diabetes medications and 3 blood pressure medications, but it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
He still does low carb. He's still losing weight, So it is a whole lifestyle, and it takes time.
It does.
What about your medications? Have your medications changed since you've done the program, or they stayed about the same?
No, they've changed. I've gone from not having to take just one. I just take one.
And I want you to tell a story about your dog, too. That's my favorite story. But go ahead.
That's funny. I just take one high blood pressure medicine a day, and I'm off all the other medicines that they had me on. And I just take metformin now, and I've reduced it down, so I'm only taking like half of a metformin a day, where I used to take 2 a day. And so that's been huge for me. And I woke up the other morning and took my blood sugar, and I was 83, and I was so excited because that's the perfect number.
That's the perfect number, 83.
To have your blood sugar at. and my blood pressure was like 110/70, and I was like, yes, I'm going in the right direction. And you just feel better.
Yeah.
You sleep better. You feel better.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
But that's an interesting thing because people, they think that your weight is what causes you to have high blood pressure and high blood sugars, etc. But if you lose 60 pounds, and let's say you still have weight to lose, your blood sugar and your blood pressure can both get better. It's not the weight. It's the carbohydrates in the diet and the insulin. Because you eat carbohydrates, which makes your body secrete a lot of insulin, which causes your blood pressure to go up and causes you to have, and the carbs cause the blood sugar to go high. So, yeah, just thought of that.
He wanted me to share with you about my dogs. When I was listening to his CDs at night, I'd turn it up in the house so that everybody in the household could hear it. And my little sissy, she was overweight. And it was amazing to actually see the dogs start changing how they ate. Like, she quit being this little food hog, and then she started losing weight too. So, it was amazing. My granddaughter, she's so funny. We had gone out to eat, and one of the things that Dr. Justin says on this CD is, sugars are poison for your body. Those carbs are poison.
Right.
They are poison. And so we go out to eat, and, I'm thinking, well, my kids haven't said anything about the CD or listening to it. So we're going out, and we sit down at a nice restaurant, and they're bringing out all the chips and salsas and everything, and I don't even care for them. And used to, that was the main part of the meal. And my granddaughter looks at me and she goes, You're not going to have any? And I said, no, I don't want any. She goes, I know, they're poison for your body.
Uh-huh.
She's been listening too, huh?
And I thought, wow, it's really working on her too. So, and then every time we go out of town or travel, Dr. Justin goes with me, on the CD.
I was going to say, wow, you got a free vacation out of this deal.
I've seen pictures of Debbie at night sleeping. She had her son take a picture. She's sleeping, listening to her stereo there.
Yeah, I took.
That was on vacation, wasn't it?
I took my little boom box, and set it up on the corner of the bed.
So have you been listening to the tapes this entire time?
I do not miss a night.
Because some patients don't have to do that. Some patients, as you've said before, Dr. Anderson, that they, maybe they do it initially for like a month or something, and then after that, they almost reprogram at a point, and then they're good. But you just like doing it all the time now.
I guess I'm addicted to it because honestly, it makes you feel so good. I have one little dog. She's my dachshund. She sleeps in my room on her bed at night, and so I put Dr. Justin on, and me and her, we sleep real good, And it's funny.
It helps you go to sleep.
It does,
Yeah.
and Wade,
I'm going to have to try that. I mean, I've listened to them, but I have not tried to go to sleep to them yet.
It
Oh,
helps.
my
If you have
goodness,
trouble
yes.
going to sleep, it'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, though, before you started the program, were you having issues as it pertains to sleep? In other words,
Yeah,
when you're obese or you're out of shape and all these kind of, your sleep plays such a big part of the overall weight loss goals. If you're having terrible sleep, then it's really self-defeating, right?
It is. And I can truly tell you that listening to Dr. Justin every night, I sleep sound all night long. I don't even wake up. Used to, I'd get up 7, 8, 9, 10 times a night before I started listening to these CDs and getting this weight off, this excess weight, And I can truly tell you that I've never really heard all of the tapes because I fall asleep. And I go, every Friday we go to our weekly group meeting, and I get in there and I'm fine. It's the middle of the afternoon. I'm not an early person. Okay, so this has really been a challenge for me to get here this morning. But I'm a night owl.
All right.
But in the afternoons I'm great, So I get there at 3:30, and Dr. Justin starts talking and everything, and then all of a sudden I find myself yawning and hard to stay awake. And it's been
Starts drifting off.
It happens to be on his show every Tuesday. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, but yeah. So, are you getting a good 7 to 9 a night? 7 hours, 9 hours.
absolutely
See, and that's the
uninterrupted, and it's always
That's the magic.
dreaming.
Yeah.
You're in your dreaming state, and I'm telling you, I wake up in the mornings and I'm like, wow, wonder where that dream came from, you know? I mean, you just,
Right.
you don't know, but yeah, it has really made a big difference in how I feel and my attitude and everything. It's just been
I
great.
tell people to listen to I call them subconscious reprogramming audio tracks. Sometimes I call them meditations, but people don't like that because I call them guided meditations sometimes, but people think, well, it's religious. It's not religious. It's just,
No,
it works
I've
kind of
heard.
like hypnosis.
Yeah.
And those audio tracks, I tell people, listen to them for a minimum of 3 weeks to 3 months. Because that's how long it takes to really change a habit, that 3 week to 3 month period. But I do have a lot of clients like Debbie, they listen to them
All the
every
time.
night.
Still.
And and I've had somebody that I just ran into, and it's a year and a half, 18 months later, she still listens to them every night. And I can understand that because I have trouble turning off my brain and going to sleep. So I listen to something similar to that myself every night, and it helps me go to sleep.
You don't listen to yourself though, or no?
Yeah,
You said-
I've made some for myself.
Oh, you made some for yourself. Oh, okay.
But I don't listen. I have 2 or 3 different things I go through, and so I have listened to myself before.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, look, here's the deal. I mean, you know that what happens, and we're talking about the tapes and the sleep aspect of it, and we haven't talked about this a lot on the show, but it is a big critical component of the plan, right? In the sense that when you're in a sleep state, in a REM sleep, that is when the body is shedding all the toxins. That's when all the toxins are coming out of the brain, all the brain fog, all the stuff. And if you're one of these people who, I can survive or function on 3 hours a day or 4 hours of sleep,
That's too stressful on your body.
it's too stressful on
makes
your
it hard
body,
to lose weight.
and you're not detoxifying because the body is detoxifying at that critical 7+ hour range. And so as you start to detoxify by cutting the killer carbs, by eating a healthier, healthier diet, then your body's detoxifying. And then you go to sleep, and if you have terrible sleep patterns, it's almost counterintuitive. And that's a big part of it too, so that's something that you have to take in consideration. Well, again, it's very important. I mean, it really is the understatement of the day because we have so often we're workaholics. We're going through the drive-throughs. We're eating the junk. We're not sleeping well. And then after years and years and years of this type of behavior, we wake up one day and go, man, I've got inflammatory issues. I'm pre-diabetic. I've got a blood pressure problem. What's going on?
I'll make it very clear, which is that, there's some nights when I stay up late and I work. And if I stay up late and I work, you know what I do the next day? I eat because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And it just, the stress response makes you the next day eat. And so the program's not all about sleep, but the subconscious reprogramming audio tracks, they do help you sleep. And they also help you know what to eat and what to avoid to eat. And that's something that's a real useful tool for people is to know. They often ask, if you don't eat bread, what on earth do you eat? Like if you don't eat chips, you don't eat bread, you don't eat tortillas, what do you eat? What's left? And so I'll ask Debbie just kind of, what is a typical day? What do you eat for a full day if you don't eat bread?
Well,
Well, wait a minute. Before she
yeah,
answers that,
yeah.
let me go to the text.
Okay.
Because this is a sleep question, but hold that
Okay.
thought, Debbie. And this is interesting because Josh texting in 7 hours of sleep minimum for adults, ? Yes, 7 to 9 hours is what's recommended. But what about children? And more particularly about children on the program, because I've always heard that, even with obese kids, that if you really, I don't know about cutting carbs on kids,
My kids don't eat bread.
Okay.
Okay.
The sleep and the carbs.
So I'll tell you that You can just Google it, average hours of sleep needed for this age, because it varies with age. The younger they are, the more sleep they need. And so, and it also kind of varies by child, because my son definitely needs less sleep than my daughter. And and some of, he's up at 5:30 or 6 every morning, and my daughter could sleep until 7:30. And so it's just it's an individual thing for kids, number one. Number two, look it up, because it depends on their age. There's a doctor well, my kids, they're relatively low carb, but children are more carbohydrate tolerant than adults are.
Okay.
That's because children are supposed to gain weight. Children are supposed to weigh more next year than they do this year. So if you have a 7-year-old who puts on 5 pounds a year, year after year after year, that's a good thing. However, if your child is overweight or obese, then there's a doctor named Lustig at UC, I think it's UC Davis, and he has a great video on YouTube called Sugar, the Bitter Truth. You can watch that. And in that video, he explains basically his program for overweight, obese, diabetic kids is the only thing they can drink is water or milk. So there's no fruit juice, there's no soda, and they can't have any sugar. And so if you just put them on water and milk, no fruit juice, no sugar, and no fruit juice and no soda, and you take away the sugar, then most of those kids, they don't actually have to lose weight. But as they grow and they keep the same weight, then they normalize their metabolism.
Okay, so it's different for children, obviously.
It's different. Okay. However, I will say this. For seizure disorder in children since the early 1900s, they've treated them with a very low carbohydrate ketogenic diet, which is the diet that we do here. So it is something that can be done in children. It's safe for children. That treats their seizure disorder. Usually if parents come and they ask me questions about their kids, it doesn't have to be that drastic. I mean, I would say cutting out the wheat and the bread would be a good thing. The fruit juice and the sodas, that's because the fruit juice has as much sugar in it as a regular Coca-Cola. It's like a regular Coca-Cola with a vitamin C tablet in it. That's what a fruit juice is.
Yeah.
And then
That's a good point.
And get rid of all of the sugar. Then that's usually adequate for kids.
Okay, good point. Well, I'm glad we got that answered on that text. Now back to Debbie and your thoughts.
Wade, I was a sweet addict. I was addicted to sweets. And, I can honestly tell you that, going through drive-thrus and going to the store and buying stuff and going home and eating it when nobody's around, it's an addiction. Just like any other addiction.
Yeah, right.
Drugs or alcohol,
Sure.
it's an addiction. And I told Dr. Justin when I first joined, I said, the first thing that I noticed that first week was I was addicted to those little white cake donuts at Walmart. I'd go buy a whole container of them, and I would eat one in a whole day. And, but I can promise you what you eat in private will show in public.
Oh, yeah, okay. The powder dildo, I used to love those things.
Oh, I know.
But I haven't touched one.
Who didn't?
Yeah, I mean, I used to like them too. But
and you just can't get them to, you just can't stop. And so from day one of listening to Dr. Justin's tapes at night, I started noticing a difference. Maybe, it was in reprogramming how I thought about the foods, but I honestly have not missed them. And I haven't had a donut since. I haven't even wanted one.
That's great.
And
are you at the point now, Debbie, because this happens to me some, that, in fact, it happened, about a month ago, as I started to really take a look at the fact that, okay, I'm working out 4 or 5 times a week. The scale's not going up, but it ain't going down either, because I was running a lot, doing a lot of cardio and a lot of strength training, which is all fine. But the whole point being is you can't outwork out a poor diet. And I've been doing this for years. I mean, for 3-4 years, working out hard, but still, 225 pounds and not moving. And not moving in the sense the scale going down. And so once I started talking with Dr. Anderson and Dr. Edwards on Monday, and after I started kind of figuring it out, I was like, okay, well, it's the diet, dummy. And so when I look at that and I think, okay, well, now I'm starting to, I see the scale going down. because I'm doing things better. But I was like you in the sense that I used to think, well, I mean, a drive-through here and there is not going to kill me. It's no big deal.
The drive-through is fine. You can actually drive through.
I know you're going to say
You
that.
can drive through all you want. It just matters what you order.
That's right.
I don't know if you've ever seen. There's a movie called Fathead. It's Fathead the movie. And what the guy does, what he does is for, I think it's 100 days. It's either 30 days or 100 days. All he eats is fast food every day. For every meal. 3 meals a day, fast food. Except when he drives through, he makes sure that he limits his number of carbohydrates every single day. And so he does the fast food drive through, and he loses a little bit of fat and puts on some muscle bulk. And so you can drive through. It matters what you order.
Okay.
Well, Dr. Justin
You
asked
should
me.
watch Fathead.
Yeah.
All right. Fathead.
Fathead.
I'm going to remember that.
He
Oh,
he
no.
asked me, well, go, how a typical day, and I grew up in the country, and we always had plenty of fresh vegetables. We milked our cows. We had fresh milk, cream. Daddy would take our calves and our pigs and have them slaughtered, and so we always knew the kind of meat we were having, and
Right.
and I would eat plenty of it, and I was never overweight, and I used to eat real healthy, but when you're young, your metabolism's greater, and things like that. And back then, we had the real butter, but over time we get programmed. I believe that we get programmed to, oh, you got to have low fat. You got to have. I can tell you exactly, Wade, when I started gaining weight was when I started doing diets that started changing the way I used to eat. And so for me, doing this diet now, I feel like I've gotten back to my roots of eating healthy. I eat high fats. I eat real butter. I have heavy cream every day, and I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
My palate is satisfied, and I'm not hungry. I don't have cravings. I may get up in the morning and have 2 or 3 scrambled eggs with cheese, a slice of avocado with 4 or 5 pieces of bacon. And that is a great meal. I don't need bread.
Well, but like but I forgot to say this because I got off track, and I usually do that on this show. But but I had about a month ago, I had a morning guest that came in and brought Krispy Kremes to the show. And then every once in a while you have people that bring in stuff for breakfast, and, and I'm like, man, and they were like, here, have some donuts. I was like, nah, I really can't. They're like, why not? These are, Krispy Kremes. I said, man, I said, I eat one of those. I said, I'm not doing a lot of sugar right now, avoiding it at almost all costs. But I knew if I ate one of those things, it'd send me to the moon. So my question is back to you.
Then you'd eat about 5 of them after that.
Well, maybe,
Yeah.
and then feel bad, and then be sick feeling. But if I were to bring those little powdery white things that you liked and set it down in front of you, is it easy now to look at that and go, I don't need that?
Oh, absolutely.
And it doesn't even bother you.
No, it does not even bother
Okay.
me. It doesn't even
Yeah.
affect me.
Right.
And
Because see, I was able to reject a Krispy Kreme very easily. I was very sympathetic to the guest. Hey, I appreciate that, but go feed those to Cliff and Jim.
Well,
They'll tear into
Yeah,
it.
those guys need them.
my kids came in with a dozen of them one night, and although they smelt wonderful, it made me nauseous to think about eating one. And I'll tell you this, and I've told this to Dr. Justin in our group, but if anybody's trying to get you to eat something that you don't want to eat, just tell them that you're allergic to it. And they're like, well, how are you allergic to that? I
To
said,
sugar donuts.
yeah, how are you allergic to those? I said, well, because if I eat them, they make me break out in fat.
I like it. Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
That's why I invited Debbie. There's several Debbie-isms that you need to know.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good response. I didn't think
They
of
make
that.
me break out in fat.
So, and
Yeah.
it's true. If you eat them, you will break out in fat. And,
Well, that is true.
but
And feel bad along the way.
Oh, gosh. Wait, I can't tell you the difference. You just feel rejuvenated eating healthy. Like this weekend, my son and daughter-in-law went to Rudy's, and they got a pound of brisket, and they got me a pound of moist, because Sean knows that I've got to have more of the fatty food. And this is weird because I was telling Dr. Justin in the beginning, when I would go to Rudy's and get, maybe a half a pound just for me and eat that, and I'd have it with a salad, make my salad at home. Well, my sugars, back then it might have been like my sugar was 140. And then I would eat that brisket, that moist brisket, which is the fatty brisket, and take my sugar again in an hour, and it would be down to like 110. It would drive my sugar down.
And diabetics think that the food's going to make your sugar go up. But not all carbs make your sugar go up.
Yeah, right.
But if you eat a meal that is a low carbohydrate, high fat meal, you can actually eat yourself into lower sugars. And the moist brisket has the fat left on it.
I was talking with a lady last week, and she was telling me, she goes, yeah, she said, I've been, I don't eat this, and this, and I'm cutting back, and I'm doing this, and and I just looked at her and I said, I learned a long time ago that if you starve your body of what it needs, and it's needing food, if you don't eat and you're starving it, your body's smart. It's gonna think, oh my gosh, they're starving me, so everything just kind of slows down. But if you do this low carb, high fat diet where you're giving your body what it's desiring, then it's like a well-oiled machine. It will just work better and better and better.
Let me take on that point there, because that's a critical element to this. For many years, you'd hear the people who'd say, oh, well, the key to any good diet is to eat 5 or 6 little meals a day. But then you break that down to, well, what is those 5 or 6 little meals? What are we talking about?
Right.
Are we talking about a handful of almonds, a handful of walnuts is one of your little, are you talking about, oh, I'll just have one slice of pizza?
5 or 6 little meals a day is about keeping your blood sugar up all day. It's in order to keep your blood sugar up, because they think, well, if you keep your blood sugar up all day, maybe you'll have more energy. Keeping your blood sugar up is a horrible idea. If you're overweight, have high blood pressure, diabetic, you have high triglycerides, low HDL, inflammation. So this diet's totally the opposite. It's about keeping your blood sugar dead normal all day long, every day.
Okay.
And so 5 small meals a day is designed to keep your blood sugar up, because what happens is when you eat, your body makes insulin, brings the blood sugar down about 2 hours later. Okay?
Okay.
And so that's why you eat, and then 2 hours later you eat a snack, and then you eat lunch, and 2 hours later you eat a snack, and then you eat dinner, and 2 hours later you eat a snack. That's what all those 5 meals are for, is to keep the sugar up, which actually is a great plan if you want to gain weight. So if I was going to put you on a weight gaining diet, it would be 5 meals a day of carbohydrates.
But what if it was 5 meals a day of the good fats and proteins?
The interesting thing is you're not hungry for 5 meals a day.
That's
okay.
what I was just fixing
to
say.
Okay, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because see,
You're not, so you don't feel like, Debbie, oh, well, I'm just ravenous. I mean, 2 hours later, I got to eat again, so I'll go eat a sirloin. No.
Well,
right?
and Wade, if you're eating foods that are bad for you, in 2 hours you will be starving.
Right. I know. Now I do know that.
And so when you're eating like good proteins, good fats, and you're doing it all together, then what's going to happen is you're not going to be ravenous to eat for another 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah,
that's right.
And so that's what I've noticed for me.
Are you doing any fasting at all?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Dr. Justin, we had a lady that was in our group, and she was really struggling, and so we agreed to fast with her 2 days a week.
Okay.
And a fast with him is not like a fast that most people do, because what you do, like on Monday evening, you eat your last meal, and then you don't eat again until Tuesday evening. But in the
24-hour fast.
So in the mornings when I get up on Tuesday, I'll get up and I'll make me a Bulletproof Coffee.
Those are good.
Very good, Debbie.
Those are good.
Excellent.
I know
you.
exactly what those are.
Oh my gosh,
Those are good.
They're wonderful. I make up my healthy coffee. I put in my coconut oil and my butter, and then I blend it with a stick blender. The first time I didn't do it that way, and it was a mess. But Dr. Justin says, no, you need that stick blender so it emulsifies everything together. Well, I have that, and then about 2 to 3 hours later, I do a Rapunzel vegetable broth. And I use the Rapunzel because it has no MSG in it.
Okay.
Okay, MSG gives
Where do
me
you buy it, Debbie?
I buy it at Natural Grocers.
Natural grocers, yeah.
I want to say Debbie's doing really great today because there's a couple of there's the Bulletproof Coffee and the Natural Grocers. Sometimes Debbie gets those kind of
Yeah.
Well, let me
mixed up, and so she's on top of it today.
let me ask this, Debbie. Do you feel like, though, have you tried because look, I'm in 48 hours now. I fast 48 to 72 every week now, and last meal I had was Sunday at 6 o'clock. Last meal. All I've had so far. I drink coffee in the morning and water throughout the day. I don't have the Bulletproof Coffee unless I really feel like I need it. But everybody's their own chemistry set, and they're different, right? And, for those who are trying to fast and they really kind of feel like, oh, I need something, the Bulletproof Coffee is an excellent way to go. But my question is to you, have you ever done a 24-hour fast without doing Bulletproof Coffee? Or do you feel like that's just something you need?
Wade, in my past,
Okay.
on different diets, different ways to lose weight, I have done what you're doing. I have gone 2 or 3 days without eating. But what that did was it messed up my metabolism.
Okay.
It messed me up. That's what I'm saying. Over the years, I have learned what not to do.
Yeah.
And now I'm learning, when I do this fast with Dr. Justin, I get up in the morning, I have my Bulletproof Coffee.
Yeah.
And then a couple hours later, or 3 hours, I do my broth. And I
With
make
a little heavy cream in it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm telling you, you make up this broth cube in about 8 ounces of hot water. I use that water from my Keurig.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mix up about 3 tablespoons of cream in it. And it is absolutely delicious. It just totally satisfies you. So now I go another 3 hours and not even think about food.
Right.
Okay?
So, but did you do that twice a week?
I do. Well, not always, but there for a while. We did,
we did
several weeks.
We did it for a couple
month,
months.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you did 2 24-hour fasts in a 7-day week.
Uh-huh.
And so Debbie did it
Okay.
to help support a member in the group coming to follow up to Metabolic Coaching, and
Gotcha.
I did it with them, and
And it's nice having Dr. Justin because he gets right in there with us.
Mm-hmm.
So you're never alone in this, And for me, and my son and my daughter-in-law, they can attest to you that they felt like when I started this program and eating this way, that, just give it a couple of weeks and she'll be back to her old self. And, over time, as time went by, that didn't happen.
Yeah, because
And-
you felt satisfied.
I am.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely. I mean, you don't feel
and
like I'm
Dr.
missing
Justin
the
gives
donuts.
us great recipes every week, and his wife is a wonderful cook, and she's always putting together great recipes with the almond flour. So, I can have waffles and different things now that I've learned to make, so I don't feel like I'm deprived of anything. And that's been wonderful for me. So I honestly do not ever intend to not eat this way.
Yeah, well, I mean, you did a life change. It's a life-changing event.
It is. It's not a diet for me.
Well,
'cause
that's the thing. See, when we talk about this on the show a lot, I think people out in Radio Land and those watching on the video and Facebook, we're doing it, that kind of thing, that they think, oh, it's another diet gimmickry. Well, we're not doing anything that's new.
it's not new.
It's
Right,
not new.
right.
It's
The
just
only thing new is
reinforcing
the way
what
it's
the
all,
body needs.
the way it's all put together. So I
Right.
mean, like a low carb, the first published thing on low carbohydrate diets, or actually on carbohydrates causing weight gain, was 1825. And the first book ever written, the first low carb book ever written, was like 1865. So I mean, the only thing new is I've tried to put together an online seminar to change the way you think, and you combine that with the subconscious reprogramming audio tracks you listen to at night to help recruit your subconscious mind to help you. And then there's written instructions and support. People can text or email me for support, or come to the follow-ups for support, or there's people all over the country that do an online course. They do an online course once a month. And so they can't come for the live follow-ups. But I've encouraged them to follow up here on the radio and given them the link so that they can, whether they're in North Carolina or Arizona, they can listen to the show, and that can be their support and their follow-up for the week.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been great. And I share it with everybody I come across. And it probably sounds bad, but when you see families out, and you look at the mom and the dad, and then the kids follow right in behind them, and every one of them are overweight.
Yeah, it's an epidemic.
It is
going on in
sad.
America today.
Yes, and so, I thank God every day that I found Dr. Justin, and literally thank you, Dr. Justin, for
you're
changing
welcome.
my life. I'm telling you, those CDs that I listen to every night, it really has made a big difference for me. And if I could tell anybody out there, I had given up hope of ever getting my health back, and this has given me my hope back.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it is a life-changing situation, but it's the knowledge that goes into it. I mean, like we've talked about many times here before, but again, I've been hosting medical shows and on television and radio for over 20 years now, and from everything from gastric bypass to alternative to orthodox medical shows. And it wasn't until just here recently that I started to kind of unlock some of this stuff, to kind of figure out, okay, well, what is it?
Yeah, because people are trying to figure out, they want to feel better, they want to lose weight, they want to look better, they want their blood sugars better. So what supplement am I missing? What pill am I missing? What
How can
am I not working out right? Is there something I need to add? But this whole thing's not about adding. It's about taking away. And when you take away the things that are causing all those things to happen in your body, it actually simplifies your life. You could add more pills and more supplements and buy special meals and special shakes and all that sort of stuff, or you could just simplify things and just cut the carbs. You cut the carbs, and then you don't need all.
Well,
need all
the
that
inflammatory
extra
markers go down. You feel better. Your body gets what it needs, and then you can blowtorch it by doing the fasting and working out. I mean, if you choose to do so. Don't have to, but that's what I choose to do, right? I still continue to work out. I still do, my HIIT training and strength training, and I still, like I said, I still fast at least 48 hours once a week. Now, that may be too aggressive, but I'm thinking, hey, summer's right around the corner. I've already lost
your Speedo.
Yeah, exactly. I've lost
Weight in the
I've lost
Speedo.
8 pounds in 3 weeks. That's a significant, for me, that's great. I'd moved that much weight in the last 3 years of just working out. But eating like a pig, I wasn't getting it done.
Well, you can if you eat the right food.
Absolutely.
Right. And see, that was one thing, Dr. Justin, I was so impressed with him because, I found this on Facebook on a Sunday afternoon.
Right.
And I was listening to all the wonderful testimonies of people, and I was reading everything, and then there was this phone number, and I thought, I'm just going to call that number and see what it has to say. And lo and behold, Dr. Justin answered the phone, and I was just gobsmacked. I was like, I was expecting a voicemail,
Yeah, right.
And he goes, "This is Dr. Anderson. How can I help you?" And I said, "Well, I'd just like to know about your program." So he told me a little bit about it and everything. And, I've done all these. I've done Jenny Craig. I've done Weight Watcher. I've done everything that's out there, literally, from Herbalife to Arbonne to, if it's been a diet, I did that fasting, MetaFast diet that, Oprah lost her weight on it. I've done them all. And there's none of them that are the last one I did was one on Slide Road, and it's very expensive, And you go in there and you start talking to, I had to pay $450 just for a consultation to see about getting that surgery. We're talking money.
Yeah, right.
And Wade, I asked Dr. Justin, I said, okay, so, what are we looking at in terms of cost? He said, well, it's $25, and I ask you to do it for 3 months, $25 a month. I said, that's it, $25. You know, I mean, and
I'm
he
gonna raise
goes,
the price. Gotta
he's-
raise the price now.
no, because here's what he said. He said, Debbie, he said, I keep it cheap for y'all so you can spend the money on the food that you're going to need to get you where you need to be. How awesome is that?
Well, and the reality of it is this, because my wife, she's a health coach, and I swear, I mean, I'm just going to say, but the reality of it is a lot of these foods that are low in no carbs really are not any more expensive than the crap you get in the frozen section or whatever. I mean, it's just really not. I mean, when you really
If you're buying pre-prepared foods,
if
in
you're
the frozen
putting
section,
pencil to paper to it, I have noticed that it's really not that much more expensive.
but the thing is that you know, eggs are going to be more expensive than bread, and ground beef is going to be more expensive than sugar. It's more expensive than donuts. You know,
It really is.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you put a box of donuts and a pound of lean ground meat, I get that.
Not lean.
But I mean,
You want 80-20.
Yeah, you don't
that's
do.
what I.
If you can do 75-25, you do that. You want more fat.
Well, yeah, but I 80-20 is about where the standard is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some people you can get into the 90 range, but my point is that I've never been one to sit around and say, well, I'm just going to have donuts for dinner as opposed to hamburger.
Right. Well, all just like Debbie's saying. I mean, people, they do have to spend more money on food, because if you're going to eat a waffle made out of almond flour
Well, that's
versus a waffle made out of wheat flour, it's going to cost more.
It is.
And if you're going to eat an omelet for breakfast instead of a bowl of oatmeal, it's going to cost more.
And so I appreciate you, Dr. Justin, because, you know, it was affordable for me to join his program, and now it's not just a program; it's a way of life for me.
Yeah.
I look forward to every Friday, which I'm going to miss you this week because you're going to be gone.
I'm at it. Oh yes, for anyone out there who's a subscriber, we're not meeting this Friday.
Oh,
There's
that's when I was
follow-up
coming.
this
I was
Friday.
coming this Friday. Just kidding. He's always on me about going.
No follow-up this Friday, Wade.
Oh, well. Right.
But anyway, I thank you for having me today.
No, it's great, Debbie, and like I said, we appreciate you coming on and telling your story. I want to continue to follow with you and follow up with you.
Good.
I
And
mean,
every
at
time we
60
see each other, we'll see a lot less of
Yeah,
each
we're on
other.
Facebook, right? You told me when you walked in we're Facebook friends. Although I'm banned from Facebook right now. I should be back on, I think, in 5 days or something when I get out of Facebook jail. But I will tell you that absolutely, I want to follow your progress, and congratulations to you for
Thank you.
a 60-pound weight loss, and you're going to go for another 60
Yes.
to make it 120.
Uh-huh.
And then you think, okay,
Then we'll go from there and see
go
where
see
we
how
go.
it is,
Mhm.
but
That's right.
ideal body weight and all that. So it's wonderful. Dr. Justin Anderson, everybody, of course, Metabolic Coaching. You can check it out, metabolic.coaching.net. You can follow us on Facebook as well. Cut the Killer Carbs, on Facebook. Cut the Killer Carbs. And our direct number, 448-0322, 448-0322. Dr. Anderson, also always a pleasure. Any final thoughts? We appreciate y'all being out with us on the show today.
I don't really have any final thoughts, but I'll just emphasize something that Debbie said, is that when you come and do the program, it's an educational behavior modification program, and we don't sell anything. I don't sell a book. I don't sell supplements. I don't sell pills. I don't sell meals. So it's just pay your membership, come and get educated, reprogram your brain to eat healthy food. That's it.
Very straightforward.
That's
and it works. Okay.
It works.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, guys. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. We'll see you
Thank you.
back here next week on the show. Stick around now. Unconfused coming up next.